These are daily affirmations you can speak over yourself from the book The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. Chapter 1. Believe in yourself. I believe in myself, not with arrogance, but with the quiet, settled confidence of a person who knows they are made in the image of God and equipped for the life they have been given. That belief is not something I am trying to manufacture. It is something I am choosing to remember. I have released every inferiority thought that has ever attached itself to my name. Those thoughts were never mine. They were borrowed from difficult situations, difficult seasons, and difficult people that I have now outlived. I give them back. I repeat this 10 times a day until it becomes the ground beneath my feet. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, not as a formula, as a confession of lived truth. The strength is real. I receive it. I picture myself succeeding, not occasionally when I feel like it, but as the dominant image I hold of myself and my future. What the mind pictures, it moves toward. I am deliberate about what I allow my mind to picture. Chapter 2. A peaceful mind generates power. A peaceful mind is not a passive mind. It is the most powerful mind available to me. When the noise drops away and the inner life becomes still, I have access to a quality of intelligence, creativity, and discernment that the anxious mind can never reach. I saturate my thinking with peaceful images. Regularly, deliberately, I withdraw from the noise and I visit the inner landscape of stillness. I carry that stillness back into everything I do. I practice speaking peaceful words. The words I speak aloud shape the atmosphere around me and the chemistry within me. I choose them with the understanding that I am creating the environment I inhabit. I use the words of Scripture as mental medicine. I let them dwell in me, circulate through me, work on me the way a healer works on a patient. The Word is alive. I let it do its work. Chapter 3. How to have constant energy. God is the source of all energy. When I am connected to that source through prayer, through faith, through the deliberate alignment of my will with God's purpose for my life, I do not run out. The supply is inexhaustible. I do not drain my energy on resentment, worry, or fear. These are the leaks in the vessel. I identify them and I seal them. Every ounce of energy I stop wasting on anxiety becomes available for the purpose I was created for. I do what I love and I love what I do. Enthusiasm is the most powerful energy multiplier available to me. A task undertaken with genuine enthusiasm produces a quality of output that no amount of tired obligation can approach. I think and speak in terms of energy, vitality, and life. The words I habitually choose become the conditions I habitually inhabit. I choose words that signal to my body, my mind, and my God, I am alive, I am well, and I am ready. Chapter 4. Try prayer power. Prayer is not a last resort. It is my first response. I bring God into the situation before it becomes a crisis, not after. The partnership is constant, not emergency. I prayerize every significant challenge I face. I talk it over with God directly, simply, and specifically. Not in formal religious language, but in the honest language of a person who believes they are heard and that the hearing matters. I picturize the desired outcome. With full faith and clear inner vision, I hold the image of the resolved situation, the healed relationship, and the opened door. I hold it until it feels more real than the problem I started with. I actualize. I do my part and I trust God with the rest. The partnership is not passive. God provides the power. I provide the obedience. Together, we produce results that neither could produce alone. Chapter 5. How to create your own happiness. Happiness is a choice I make before circumstances cooperate. I do not wait for things to improve before I allow myself to feel the joy that is available to me right now, in this moment, as a person who is held by God. I develop the happiness habit. I deliberately look for what is good, what is beautiful, what is working, and what deserves gratitude. I find it, and I let the finding change my emotional baseline one day at a time. I practice love, not as a sentiment, but as an act. Love directed outward toward the people around me, toward the world I inhabit, toward God, is the most reliable path to inner happiness I have ever found. I am in the hands of God, and nothing in the hands of God is wasted, nothing is hopeless, and nothing is beyond the reach of grace. That conviction is the bedrock of my happiness, and I stand on it every single day. Chapter 6. Stop fuming and fretting. I have stopped fuming and fretting, not because everything is resolved, but because I have decided that fretting is a form of faithlessness and I am a person of faith. I release the agitation and I let the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, stand guard over my mind. Tension and irritability are signals, not verdicts. When I notice them arising, I pause. I breathe. I return to the truth that the God who created the universe is actively involved in the details of my life. That truth dissolves the urgency of most of what I am fretting about. I empty my mind of accumulated irritants at regular intervals. I do not let them compound and ferment into something much larger than they actually are. I deal with them, release them, or lay them before God, and then I move on. Chapter 7. Expect the best and get it. I am a positive thinker in the truest sense. I expect good things, I look for good things, and I find them. Not because the world is without difficulty, but because I have learned that what I was consistently expecting tends to organize itself into what I consistently receive. I throw my heart over the bar. I commit to the outcome I want before I can see how to reach it. The heart knows a path the head has not mapped yet. I trust the heart. I throw it first. I do not think in terms of failure. I think in terms of the next attempt. The person who consistently expects success and consistently acts on that expectation is the person who consistently produces success. I am that person. I speak life over every situation I encounter, not as denial of what is hard, but as the deliberate planting of the seed of what can be. Words are seeds. I plant good ones. Chapter 8. I do not believe in defeat. I do not believe in permanent defeat. I believe in temporary setback followed by wiser effort. The obstacle is not the end of the road. It is the place where the road requires more of me than I have previously given. I give it. When I face a wall, I do not stop. I ask God for the door, and I have found consistently that door exists. It is not always where I expected it, but it is always there, and I keep looking until I find it. I am not defined by the worst thing that has happened to me. I am defined by what I choose to do with it. That choice has always been mine, and I have always chosen to keep going. I replace the word defeat with education. Every setback has taught me something I needed to know. The curriculum has been expensive in some seasons, but I have graduated from every course I have enrolled in. I keep enrolling. Chapter 9. How to break the worry habit. Worry is a habit. That means it can be broken and replaced with a different habit. I am in the process of breaking the habit of worry and replacing it with the prayer habit. Every time I catch myself worrying, I turn it into prayer. The reflex is changing. I empty my mind regularly. At the end of every day, I release the worries I have accumulated, not by suppressing them, but by genuinely handing them over to the one who is not troubled by them. I sleep without the weight of tomorrow. I take Peale's formula seriously. Prayerize it, picturize the solution, actualize by doing my part. This 3-step practice transforms every worry from a circular mental loop into a directed, productive act of faith. I stop lending my mind to the things I cannot control. My mind is a resource. I invest in it what is productive, what is prayerful, and what is within my ability to act upon. Everything else I release. Chapter 10. Power to solve personal problems. Every problem I face has a solution. I begin from that conviction. God did not create the problem without also creating the solution. My job is to pray for guidance, think clearly, act on what I receive, and trust the outcome. I talk my problems over with God as I would talk them over with the wisest advisor I know. Because I believe that is exactly what I'm doing. The guidance I receive in those conversations is real. I act on it. I think about the problem with full seriousness, then I release it to my subconscious mind and to God. I have learned that the solution often arrives when I have stopped forcing it. In a quiet moment, a sudden clarity, an unexpected conversation. I stay receptive. I ask for help from God, from people I trust, from the accumulated wisdom of those who have faced what I am facing. Pride that refuses to ask for help is not strength. It is isolation dressed as self-sufficiency. I ask. Chapter 11. How to use faith in healing. I believe in the healing power of faith, not as a substitute for medicine, but as the atmosphere in which medicine works best and in which the body's own God-given healing intelligence operates most freely. I speak words of health and life over my body. I do not rehearse my ailments. I do not give symptoms a name and a home in my vocabulary. I speak what I want to be true, and I invite my subconscious and my God to conspire in making it so. I release guilt, resentment, and fear from my body. These are the most common sources of physical deterioration that Peale documents across thousands of cases. I free them. I forgive the people and the seasons they are attached to, and I feel the body begin to breathe. The healing presence of God is within me and around me at all times. I turn toward it consciously, regularly, with gratitude. That turning is itself a form of healing. Chapter 12. How to draw upon that higher power when facing difficulties. When I face what I cannot handle alone, I do not pretend otherwise. I reach upward. I access the higher power that is always present and always willing to assist the one who asks with genuine faith. I have developed a moment-by-moment awareness of God's presence, not just in crisis, not just in church, in the office, on the road, in difficult conversation, in the sleepless night. God is there. I practice acknowledging that. I pray specifically, not in vague generalities about wanting things to be better, but in the honest, specific language of a person who knows what they need and trusts that God is interested in the details of their life. Because He is. Chapter 13. How to think your way to success. I think about success constantly, not in the desperate way of someone who fears failure, but in the natural, settled way of a person who expects it. What I think about most is what I move toward most. I aim my thoughts deliberately. I form a clear mental image of what success looks like in my specific life. Not what it looks like for someone else, what it looks like for me in my calling at this season with these people. I hold that image with faith. I apply the full formula, prayerize the goal, picturize the achieved outcome, actualize by doing what I am led to do. Repeat. The formula works. I have seen it work. I keep applying it. I align myself with God's purpose for my life. When my goals are aligned with His design for me, the resistance drops away and the provision appears. I am constantly refining that alignment, constantly asking, is this where you are leading me? And I follow the answer. Chapter 14. Relax for easy power. I practice relaxation as a spiritual discipline. Tension is not productivity. The person who has learned to relax into God's power, to release the white-knuckled grip of self-reliance, produces more, creates more, and sustains more than the person who is constantly straining. I slow down enough to hear. God speaks in the still, small voice. The person who is always moving, always managing, always solving, rarely hears it. I create the silence that allows the guidance to come through. I rest in God, not passively, but actively, trusting the outcome to a wisdom that is greater than mine, while doing fully and joyfully the work that belongs to me. That combination of action and trust is the definition of easy power. I practice it. Chapter 15. How to get people to like you. I am genuinely interested in every person I meet, not as a technique of likability, but as the practical expression of the conviction that every person is made in the image of God and deserves to be treated accordingly. I remember names. I praise generously and specifically. I become the kind of person who notices what is good in others and says it out loud. These habits are not tricks. They are acts of love given practical form. I resolve problems calmly and promptly. The person who handles difficulty with grace and without drama is the person others want beside them when things get hard. I want to be that person. I am practicing being that person. I heal every relationship I can heal. I extend the first word of reconciliation. I ask forgiveness where it is needed and offer it freely where it has been earned. The relational health of my life is the most immediate measure of my spiritual maturity. I take it seriously. Chapter 16. Prescription for heartache. Do not deny the reality of heartache. Peale does not either. The prescription is not the pretense that pain is not real. It is the deliberate application of the spiritual resources that are more real and more powerful than the pain. I pray through heartache, not once, not briefly, but persistently and honestly. The way a person pries open a door that was shut against them. I keep praying until the peace comes. It always comes. I stay connected to people. Heartache drives many people into isolation, which only deepens it. I accept the care of the people who offer it. I allow myself to be ministered to. Receiving is itself an act of faith. I trust the arc. What feels like an ending is rarely a final ending. God is the author of restoration. I have seen it in my own life too many times to doubt it in the lives of others. The story is not over. I keep reading. Chapter 17. How to draw upon that higher power. I reach toward the higher power every single day. Not in emergency, not in crisis. In the ordinary moments, the mundane decisions, the quiet beginning of each morning. The connection is built in ordinary time. I build it. I pray for the people in my life. I pray for the people I will never meet, whose lives my work and my presence will touch. Prayer is not a private transaction. It is a form of love sent outward into the world. I send it freely and consistently. God will help me, so I believe and I live accordingly. This is Peale's final word, spoken directly and simply. The belief is real, the help is real. The living it requires is simply the decision to trust that both are true, made every morning before the day begins. I live successfully, not perfectly, not without difficulty, but with the constant engagement of every resource available to me, natural and supernatural, directed toward the life I am called to build and the people I am called to serve. I aim way high. I move with purpose and rise with faith. I hope this blesses you. Grace and peace.